Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. What's next for Madrimov? I see some people are saying Eddie Hearn's going to drop him. Madrimov lost twice, back-to-back losses. That means that Eddie Hearn is done with Madrimov. Let me tell you something. I don't see Eddie Hearn doing that to Madrimov, okay? The reality is this. Madrimov came out here. He was a champion at 154. Crawford clipped him to become the WBA champion. But when you look at this boxing landscape here, right? Let me reduce the size of this for you. When you look at this boxing landscape at 154 pounds, I got to be real with you. Madrimov still has legs. Now, what I mean by that is he still has many years in the sport. He lost to Terrence Crawford. There's no shame in losing to Terrence Crawford. Then he came and he lost to Virgil Ortiz. Let me tell you something. Virgil Ortiz, he and Robert Garcia have something good going. Because Virgil Ortiz, I felt, was on his way out. And the only reason I felt that way is because of the rhabdomyolysis. He had 2 episodes of that. The man almost died. Came back to 154. First 2 fights, less than stellar performances. To me, he got some gift stoppages, all right? So when he went up to fight Bohachuk, I felt Virgil Ortiz was going to lose. He got the win, but to me, they robbed Bohachuk, right? That's just my opinion. So to find out that he was going to fight Madrimov, I said, damn, Madrimov's going to hit this man on top of the head. Kind of like what Joseph Parker did to Bacoli, throw the equilibrium off, and Virgil Ortiz isn't going to be able to respond. That's not what happened, okay? Robert Garcia, it's like I've also said, he has a way where he can get a fighter who's on their last leg, and he can bring them back to life. You know, you look at what he did with Marcos Maidana, even with Valenzuela, and now he with Ortiz and numerous other fighters. I don't know what they're doing over there in the Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, but nonetheless, absolutely amazing. So Madrimov and Madrimov's fans should not feel bad about Madrimov losing to Virgil Ortiz and Terrence Crawford. Because what it's shaping up to look like is Crawford may be the top dog at 154, Ortiz may be number 2. That's as of today. But when we really start taking a look at what's out there, Murtazaliev, who else? Bohachuk. Bottom line is, what Madrimov is doing by fighting these killers, that's what you want. And Eddie Hearn should not turn his back on him. Now, the thing about Eddie Hearn did go on record a couple years ago, and this is before Turki Al-Sheikh got involved. He said, hey, when it comes to his fighters, if you're not putting butts in seats, if you're not winning, it's 2. 1, if you're not winning, it's a problem. 2, even if you're winning, but you're not putting butts in seats, it's a problem. Because for Eddie Hearn, he's got to turn a profit. He can't keep taking losses. So when he said that, Eddie Hearn was looking to, trim his roster, even if he had fighters who were winning. If they're not helping him to turn a profit, he had to let you go. So with Madrimov, the circumstances are a little bit different because as long as Madrimov keeps fighting on Turki Al-Sheikh cards, Eddie Hearn turns a profit, and I don't think he's going to really care. Yeah, he wants his guys to win, but it's hard to sit there and justify turning your back on a fighter when the fighter just fought arguably maybe the number 1 and number 2 at 154. However, that's as of today, because I just think the real boogeyman in that division and the guy who beats everyone, I think is Murtazaliev. That's just my opinion. But we won't know until they fight. So for Madrimov, to me, when I look at Madrimov, man, look, they could hate on him or say bad things about him. I don't think that's fair. Where is it? I'm going to show you something. Here it is right here. I just don't think that's fair to do to him. Because when you look at his record of 10 wins, 7 knockouts, 2 losses by decision, right? when you look at his record and you know about his amateur pedigree and the 300 something fights or whatever he had, you know who he reminds me of? So you figure in the 154-pound division, I'm gonna point some out to you and you're gonna agree. So who we say are the top dogs at 154, okay? Let's say it's Madrimov, Bohachuk, Ortiz Jr., and Crawford. Murtazaliev, too. That makes 5, right? Back in the day when Thurman was fighting, who were the top dogs at 147? You had Thurman, you had Porter, you had Donnie Garcia, you had Terrence Crawford, you had Earl Spence. Those 5 fighters. So there's 5 there, and there's 5 here at 154. Shawn Porter mixed it up with Thurman. He mixed it up with Terrence Crawford. He mixed it up with Earl Spence. He lost to all 3. Okay? That didn't hurt Shawn Porter's career. If anything, it made people put some respect on his name. So what I think is happening here is Madrimov may be shaping up to be the Shawn Porter of 154 pounds. Now, some people may disagree with me, but when you take a look at it, if he goes and he fights Murtazaliev now, even if he loses, you got to look at who he's losing against. You know, it's not like he went in the ring and he fought, Erickson Lubin, even though Lubin's a good fighter. He's losing against killers, and he's a killer himself. It's not like they're walking through him. You look at Crawford at the end of that fight. Crawford got damaged. You look at Virgil Ortiz at the end of that fight. He got damaged. Many people felt that Madrimov beat Ortiz, and they feel like he beat Crawford. Okay? So that being said, I think there's a lot of respect that needs to be put on Madrimov's name. But what's next for him? I don't know. Those Eastern European guys will fight anyone. Maybe they put him in there with Bohachuk, but Bohachuk's coming off of a loss and a win. Murtazaliev, maybe they do Bohachuk, Murtazaliev. But for Madrimov, I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe they throw him in there with Xander Zayas. Maybe Xander Zayas finally gets an opportunity. I don't know, but 2 back-to-back losses are going to affect him in the rankings. But you got to look at who he lost at. But don't expect Eddie Hearn to turn his back on him. Eddie Hearn has a gym. Y'all got to understand, this shit is bigger than boxing. Madrimov, as far as his country and the way his people support him, he's a jewel in that country, and they're gonna do everything they can to support and protect him. So Eddie Hearn's not gonna turn his back on him. Madrimov just has too much fanfare for Eddie Hearn to say, you know what, he lost twice to 2 of the top fighters in 154. I'm gonna turn my back on him. He ain't doing that. Eddie Hearn knows there's some big money behind Madrimov, and he's gonna hold on to him. That being said, I almost would rather him not fight Murtazaliev next, but if Turki Al-Sheikh, if Turki's in the house every day, it's Thanksgiving, at least for Turki Al-Sheikh, and he's going to do what he wants to do, and he's going to match him up. But when I look at it, Madrimov may end up fighting, I think Zayas is a good fight for him. Tim Tszyu, he got some work to do, but I don't think Tim Tszyu's team would want that Madrimov fight. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I look at some of these names. Lubin may get an opportunity now, man. Mielnicki Jr., Tellez has a fight coming up. Conwell, Zayas is in the building. Ramos. I don't know. But expect Madrimov to keep pushing forward, Matchroom behind him. And no one should sit here and clown and insult him, talking about he's a tomato can, he's a bum. Okay, he's a bum. You ask Virgil Ortiz if he's a bum. You ask Terrence Crawford. Those guys told you. Madrimov is a special fighter, but Ortiz was able to up it. That's how come he was able to win that fight. Crawford was able to up it. That's how come he was able to win that fight. And I think Madrimov is going to learn from this. And his next fight, I think he may even up it because he has that weird herky-jerky style, and maybe he needs to kind of, fine-tune that style a little bit to be more effective. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. Y'all, I'm in the breeze.